G'day guys, we're here with the Kia EV5 and this week we're reviewing the Earth all-wheel drive edition. It's a dual motor powerhouse of a car that is also so nicely refined and incredibly simplistic and minimalistic on the inside, which makes it an absolute dream as a daily vehicle for the family or just for your road trip adventures. The styling and design and the body language is absolutely perfect. It no longer looks like an experiment, it just looks like this modern powerhouse of a vehicle. Daytime running lights the whole way at the top here, coming down into this almost kind of C-type design, obviously a reverse C on the other side, and LED headlights and high beam and low beam, all part of that package with the Earth edition. There's a couple of other things that you'll really like, just like, anything that becomes modern. You're going to have a few things that make driving a little bit easier. Front parking sensors, just keep the distance nice and manageable. Given that it is a bigger car and a bit boxier, it is a little bit easier to park, but having those front parking sensors just allows you to get nice and snug up against whatever you're in front of. Let me pop the bonnet so I can show you what kind of power you're dealing with. Now, popping the bonnet in an EV is a little bit different to popping the bonnet in a petrol combustion engine or a diesel combustion engine vehicle. And that is because, well, there's actually some storage in here where you can keep things like your charging equipment. Perhaps you have a V2L or vehicle to load adapter, or you just have your tire mobility kit that you want to keep in here. You can have all of these things under the bonnet, freeing up valuable real estate in the boot area, but also allowing you to do things like chuck your shopping and things like that underneath here when you don't have all that much of it and you don't want it to roll around like crazy in the boot. The car itself, absolutely fantastic. So the front motor will give 160 kilowatts worth of power. The rear motor will give 70 kilowatts worth of power, giving you in total 230 kilowatts worth of power and 480 Newton meters worth of torque, which is absolutely staggering considering this is just a family SUV. Now, the other benefit to not having an engine and not having anything underneath here other than maybe your windscreen washer fluid and a couple of other things that you might want to top up is if you're going somewhere to maybe watch your kids play sport, maybe you're going to an airport to watch the suns, maybe you're going to an airport to watch the planes land and take off, or you're just having a romantic date at the park. You can get a little bit of shade from the sun without having to necessarily take a sunshade. Now, that's not an official use for this bonnet or for this area, so don't take my word on that one. The one cool thing I do like about this design cavity is that there's a seal that goes around the whole outer side. In other vehicles, you would normally see a plastic lid that kind of folds over it, which provides not much insulation from all the heat. What you have here with the EV5 is a well-designed insulation area, so that when that closes down, you get the clamping and sealing of that seal itself going around, but also being able to just keep a little bit of heat from coming into whatever you've got underneath here. So that's a cool little use for it. Let's check out the rest of the car. Now, being fully electric, at some point, you're gonna wanna charge this car. And the great thing about the EV5 is it can charge from your power point at home. Most people will probably drive under 100 kilometers a day, meaning that if you plug this in at night and leave it charging overnight, you're probably going to be all right with a topped up battery the next day. Down here, you have your charging ports. They're a Type 2 charger, just the most common one that you can have here in Australia. So you're not going to be trying to find a weird, awkward, CHAdeMO charging port like previous vehicles. You're going to have a good to go regular charger that is available at basically any charging outlet. That also means that you can charge at destination chargers. Perhaps you're going to somewhere like IKEA or maybe Woolworths, Coles, and you want to charge and top up your car while the car is there and you're doing your shopping. You can plug in your own Type 2 to Type 2 cable that will plug straight into here to charge and top up your battery. Or if you need to do DC fast charging, it's going to be compatible with every single fast charger that you can find out there in the marketplace. Push this here, that will close it down and it's nice and neat and out of the way. Tires on the Earth, you get 19-inch tires and rims. They are incredibly well designed and comfortable. You get Kumo rubber wrapping them around. So even though this EV5 is made in China and not Korea, you still are ending up with Korean branded tires and also a premium tire design for an EV, giving you really good stability and handling in the wet, but also very quiet and comfortable daily drives when every other condition is just normal. Moving around to the side, you've got this elegant design for the external mirrors. Lots of sharp lines on the EV5, but it gives it that edgy futuristic feel without looking like a futuristic experiment. So there's a fine balance, and Kia has actually delivered really well with their styling, and that's applicable to a lot of their current cars. The EV9, absolutely loved that. The review might be out by the time you watch this, or is coming out very shortly, as well as the EV3, which review is coming out in the near future as well. And once again, styling on that is just absolutely superb. The handles on the outside, this is the one part of this car I don't necessarily like. I don't hate them, I just think that they could have been motorized, and I think that that would have just made it a better user experience. So as you approach the car, you would think that you just push here and that opens the door. But if the car is off and the car is locked, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to push this button here. So pushing that way on the handle until you kind of feel a click or a bit of force coming the other way, that's gonna lock and unlock the car. If you choose not to use the remote control, that is. And to open it, you just push that and then pull it open. Now, the alternative from one of the EV leaders in the market is obviously you push at the back, and as that flicks open, you grab the handle and you pull it open. But a lot of other brands have gone with handles that just automatically pop out and just make it easier for you to get in and out of the car. And to be honest, I think that's actually a better solution for a lot of people. So let me know what you think in the comments. That's me being very, very picky when it comes to the handles. So it is very much a personal choice. Not everyone is going to have that same opinion. Moving to the back, same thing again, handles open that way, but you get a really wide opening rear door, and I think parents are going to love that for the ease of being able to get in and out of that back seat. And roof rails at the top here allow you to put roof racks on nice and easily. You can just buy a roof rack kit that's suitable for this car and put them on there. At the back, you get the reverse camera. It's the only camera that you actually get with the EV5 in the Earth Edition. There's no 360-degree camera system, and we'll show you in a second what that looks like. Tailgate is electronic. It opens up, closes down, all electronically, and you are met with quite a considerable amount of space in the back. Underneath here, you have a false floor that gives you a little bit of additional storage, and that's nicely laid out so that you can really kind of put sporting equipment, you can put beach gear, whatever you want directly in there. A couple of cubby holes on the outer two sides that also allow you to have additional gear in there. And behind here, you've got another false floor where you can chuck in even more things just there. What would have been nice to see in the cargo area for this car is actually just having the ability to just drop that floor completely without having to kind of pick and choose which of the parts you want, because once this is open and you've pulled this out, you can't really do anything with either of these containers. Like they're kind of just there. It would have been nice to have that option, just to have, you know, maybe one deeper recess with no wall in the middle, allowing you to maybe put, you know, a checked suitcase in, a backpack, maybe a couple of things if you are going on a road trip and you need just that little bit of additional space. However, that space that is currently available is really generous, so I don't think you're going to be without the space that you need. And as you can see, it's actually pretty easy to put this back and forth, in and out. You're not going without just there. A couple other cool features are these clips over here. So they actually just twist. And providing that you don't almost drop them like I did, all they do is just go here and you just twist to lock them in place. Once they're locked in place, it allows you to have whatever you want in there so that you can kind of adjust it almost like a cargo barrier, cargo netting type positioning system. So you literally just clip them out, clip them in. And if you wanted to have some straps or things like that, just to hold baggage or whatever you've got in the back down, it gives you that versatility and flexibility. There's a little bit of side pocket storage up here as well. This could be handy for things like a first aid kit, which Kia does actually offer as a genuine accessory as well. So you could option up something like that. These clips also can be found down the bottom here. So if you're trying to partition this rear tailgate with a cargo net, you could also do that as well, nice and easily. You're not limited to just this functionality at the top. A little bit of storage at the top here as well. Perhaps you're watching your kids play sports or whatever. You could just have something sitting there while you're watching that way. A couple other cool things on this side. This is where the real gem and real magic happens, because the car supports vehicle to load. And what that means is, if you want to charge in an emergency devices, perhaps your power's out at home. In Queensland, we recently had a weather event where some people lost power, and some of those people actually lost it for almost a week. So something like that could assist you in actually being able to power things like your fridge or your freezer, so that you don't lose valuable food inside a fridge, particularly at the moment where the cost of living is so expensive. You could also power tools if you're trying to help out in cleaning up after an event like that. Or alternatively, if you're going camping, great place to set up a portable projector, portable popcorn machine, or perhaps even just a portable music system, such as a DJ deck. So the choice is all yours, as long as you stay within the capacity of the vehicle, and you're very unlikely to actually use much power for too long with that system. So that's a great little solution there. And I absolutely love these clips here as well. This design is just nice and easy of being able to adapt whatever you want to do just there. Let's go have a look at what you get in the front of the car. Stepping into the Kia EV5, you have harder but not too harsh materials at the top here. Down the bottom, you have your usual hard-wearing rough plastic, and you have soft touch materials just here and here, where they're going to be the high contact areas that you're likely to be touching anyway. This highlight, which is a copper bronze type feel, and I really, really like just that little bit of sophistication and class that it actually adds to this vehicle. Power windows, power mirrors, central locking, all the usual suspects are all located just here. Heated seating for the front two seats, that's located just up here. There is the option for ventilated seats, but that is in higher spec levels, not this model. And outside of that, let's step into the inside of the cabin, where you are met with a very comfortable seating position. The steering wheel itself is well aligned. It's not too far to the left or to the right. It's in the right spot that it needs to be. We're currently at 85% battery charge. We have about 385 kilometers remaining, and we've done about 50 Ks since last reset, plus a lot of stationary filming and checking of things with this car as well. Gear selector over here, that just twists and turns. So twist it forward for drive, neutral in the middle, and reverse by twisting it down. Push that in to get it into park, and the stop start button is actually over here to the left of the DNR, or do not resuscitate, part of the buttons. Obviously it's not do not resuscitate, and that's why there's a button there to turn the car on and off. Steering wheel itself, very nicely designed, good height, reach and height adjustable, which is fantastic. The design of the actual steering wheel is not fully round, it's a little bit flattened at the top, and it helps you see everything that's in this center screen really well, because you have two very big digital displays in the center, plus an additional digital information display for your climate just in the middle of those two screens as well. So you're getting plenty of visibility just through there. And outside of that, the steering wheel has a gloss gray finish, which I've never seen in a car before. I don't mind it. It looks a lot better than gloss black, so good job there. The KN or Kia redesigned logo is nice and flat and proud in the center here. And outside of that, nothing too much more to report to. So come through to this side and let's see what you get in the middle. These plush premium seats are absolutely comfortable. Great for long drives, hard wearing and easy to clean. They are perforated to allow for a bit of breathability, particularly when you have the heated seats on. And they have this pocket here that just kind of slides your hand in. I normally just keep my phone there while I'm charging using a cable, because I don't like to set up my phone with wireless CarPlay or Android Auto, purely just for the ease when we're moving from car to car, and sometimes I'm filming with the phone. But the car does it, and does it well. This raises up here, and you have this weird kind of extra seat, maybe for a third wheel. I believe there's no market currently globally that has this as a 6-seater, but it has almost every reflection of being a 6-seater. So I don't know if that's to say that Kia perhaps in other markets intends to release this car perhaps as a 6-seat option, or if it's just for your plus one to kind of lean over and kind of just be like, hey, how you doing? But whatever it's for, it's a bit awkward and a bit odd, because what you would normally have here is a center console area, and you would be able to store things, which is super handy. Now, you do have a little bit of storage underneath here where I've got my mics and my other camera, and it's a little storage tray. Obviously, your Macca's cups are going to fit here, and they're not quite snug, but they're not flopping around too badly. And there's no wireless charging in this model, so you're not going to have a wireless charging pad just here either. So there's just nowhere to really store anything that you don't want visible, or that you just don't want the sun slamming onto non-stop. And I think that's just one little oversight that could have been done a little bit better in this car. Because while this driving position is fantastic, and while this is comfortable, despite being quite hard, it's not a soft top material in the way that you normally would expect in a center armrest, it still finds its purpose, and on a longer drive, it's not uncomfortable. It's just something new to get used to. So just be mindful of that if you are a bit fussy with your center interiors. You obviously have lights up here. You have Kia Connect buttons and your SOS for emergencies. There's no panoramic roof or sunroof in this model. You do have to go up to another level in order to get that. The glove box is a normal glove box, just opens and flops down. And you do have this shopping bag style hook just here with the max of 3 kilos. Look, I think this would be ideal if you're putting maybe a purse, a handbag, or perhaps a single shopping bag just there, and having it sitting in the passenger footwell so it doesn't roll around. But I can't see what else that would really be helpful for. USB-C and USB-C over here. Press that one more time and it will also do the data transfer so that you can use it as a wired Apple connection over here, or Android Auto. And over here you have a 12-volt outlet just there for all of your delights. Aircon vents are in good positions, although I did find it a little bit awkward trying to find the correct position that I like the air to be in, because I am someone that likes air to be directly on my face on longer drives, particularly to kind of help manage fatigue. So that is one thing there. I do like how they've carried over that copper bronze type feel just here. It's actually the only place that has it on the rest of the dash. So it's like a little bit of a, I don't know, awkward little feel, because it's just this little V or sideways V just here. The material on the dash is actually quite nice. It's like a rubberized textured finish. And because you've got all these different angles, it kind of just gives it this cool groovy little feel to the car. And it works really, really well when you're driving because your visibility is fantastic. So I really, really like this car. Let's have a look at what you get in the back. Now, moving into the rear of the car, things get, well, a little bit different and really comfortable. So seats themselves, quite nice. You can recline them, you can pull them backwards and forwards to kind of match your desired recline level. On those longer drives, you can have a pretty good nap. It'd be nice if we started seeing some car brands with wraparound headrests, the same way that you get in planes, just so you could have a nice little nap and have a little bit of support as well. But that's just been a little bit too cheeky and asking just that little bit too much. The headrests themselves, the backrests themselves, this is kind of as far forward as you'd get it. So if you needed a bit of extra space in the back, you definitely could. There's no rails at the bottom here to get you backwards and forwards. This is basically as far forward as this back seat will go, while remaining upright enough for you to be able to sit in here, although not that comfortably. So lean it back to wherever you would want to be. USB-C charging ports directly behind the back of the seat instead of on the side, like we've seen with many other Kias before. Pockets just here for storage. And you have this slide out tray down here. Now, this is where I get it. You want a bit of extra storage in the back for whoever's in the back. But given that if this is a family car, most people will put things in here that parents are going to absolutely hate when they forget that the kids put them there and they've gone off and they start making the car smell. I would have preferred to see that there was actually more storage accessible at the front instead of it being a slide out tray in the back. But you can't have it all, and at least it has something, and it's well positioned just there. Obviously there's nothing other than just a reach through just there underneath that center armrest, because, well, there's nothing there. And up the top here, you got a couple of coat hooks as well. LED light at the top, again, nicely angled design to match the rest of the car. Isofix ports down the bottom of the outer two seats. So you have 2 positions for Isofix, and you have 3 tether points directly behind the back seats. Armrest that drops down with cup holders, and the back seats, if you do need a bit of additional space, do fold flat. So you can have them locked in. You can pull this that way to make a flat floor, and you potentially could even sleep in the back of this with an inflatable mattress and have an incredibly good night's sleep if you're touring with this car. That magnetized design is really nice, because then when you're done, you can flick that back through. You can pull that lever just over here and raise that back seat to whatever position you want to have it in. So it's really nice design for the back. The doors also have additional amounts of bronze and copper on the side, and it's very simplistic but elegant type design. Aircon vents on the side of the door pillars as well. I forgot to mention that just before. That means that you have plenty of airflow coming this way around the cabin, both in winter and in summer, rather than one person in the middle ending up with burnt knees or chilly knees after a couple of minutes. Let me know what you think about the back of the EV5, and let me know what you think about space and overall design and layout, because from a passenger perspective, I think I'd be fine in the back. I think I'd be comfortable. It's kind of lacking a little bit compared to the EV9. I really liked the EV9 interior and the layout. The EV5, I think, is a job well done, but just not a job that kind of leaves you wanting more, if that makes sense. But let's take this car for a drive, let's see what it's like, and let's talk about the all-important statistics of range and charging speeds. All right, so when I mentioned that the car only has 1 camera, this is what you get. You have just the standard traditional reverse camera system. So you don't have the bird's eye view system, you have just standard reverse camera. Front parking sensors and rear parking sensors are standard though, so you will get that. And it's still nice and easy and simple to be able to reverse park this car. So you're not going to struggle, it's just that it doesn't get the bird's eye 360 view, which is a little bit surprising at this price point. That being said, like you saw, it was very easy to park up in this car. Charging times. Now, a couple of points. The range on this car is approximately 470 kilometers. Realistically, based on a number of factors, this car will have around 400 to 450 Ks that you're going to be able to drive in most climates around Australia, if you plan on having a bit more spirited acceleration and you're not babying your drive everywhere, because that's not what life is about. The great part is this car is city-based, and most people are going to keep it in the city, which means that for the average punter, they're going to be able to take it home and plug it into their home power point, or they're going to be able to plug it into a single or 3-phase home charger. This car is capable of charging up to 11 kilowatt hour speeds. Most of the single phase is going to be limited to about 7 kilowatts. So you're going to be able to charge somewhere between 50 to 75 kilometers of additional range for every hour it's plugged in. That's super good and more than enough for the everyday Australian. Now, if you go to some of the faster chargers, you will be able to also charge from about 10% battery capacity to 80% in 38 minutes. Now, if you go to a fast DC charger and the faster of those chargers, you are going to have an ability to charge between 10% and 80% at approximately 38 minutes. Is this what I would recommend you doing if you own the car? The answer? No. I would actually recommend that you take this car, and if you're going on a road trip with the family, I've done Sydney to Brisbane many, many times, that you just top up. So every couple of hours, stop, put, maybe kind of 15, 20 minutes worth of charge in. That will give you an extra 100, 150 Ks worth of charge at most of the regional chargers. And that's more than sufficient for most of the driving that you're going to need to do. It also means that you arrive at your destination a lot more relaxed, a lot more refreshed, and a lot more comfortable. So that's that there. Road noise on the inside. A little bit more interior noise than I would have liked to have seen compared to a lot of its competitors that are coming out. It does have a better internal noise than many of its existing competitors, such as the current model Tesla Model Y. However, the updated Tesla Model Y is a little bit quieter than this. A lot of the Chinese EV competitors that are coming are a little bit quieter than this on the inside. That is without any music and without any kids being noisy and distracting you. So just how much of that are you actually going to put up with and kind of be aware of once everyone is in the car and making the noise that you would normally have while you drive? Well, that's up to you to decide. So that's that. As you can probably hear as well, there's been a couple of times where we're getting a couple of alerts from the driver assistance system. Now, don't worry, you won't have to deal with that. So if you buy a new EV5, Kia has updated the software system in the car that will allow you to just press and hold the mute button on the steering wheel for approximately 5 seconds, and that will shut off any of the alerts and alarms that you get, like the beeping that you are right at 60 k's an hour, or that your eyes have darted away from the road for a little bit too much. So you're going to get rid of all that distraction, which is the painful part of having some of these driver assistance aids in 2025. The great part is the forward collision alert system, emergency autonomous braking, cross traffic alert, blind spot monitors, all of that kind of stuff. That's all still going to work. You're going to get a lot less of the painful, annoying beeping that came about as part of changes to ANCAP safety testing in 2024. Comfort, however, the suspension just tuned really, really well. It feels like you are, kind of gliding over the road for the most part, and that's on 19-inch wheels, which is very hard to do because usually 19-inch wheels, unless your suspension is tuned really, really well, you're not getting away with a lot of the things that you might get away with when there's a little bit more rubber between you and the rim, the road and the rim, I should say. But outside of that, performance, incredible. You have 230 kilowatts worth of power. You have 480 newton meters worth of torque. So if you need to get up and go and merge into traffic or just accelerate at a rush, you're going to be able to do it really, really well. So let me know in the comment section what you think. We are going to do a little bit more testing with this car, including a longer trip and some charging videos as well. So stay tuned for those, because I really want you to see what the car is like to actually live with, separate to this video, which is just a review of the car in the way that a normal journalist will get a car and review it for a handful of days. We actually want to put it to the test and go a bit further out, venture out yonder, but also charge it a little bit differently. So let me know in the comments section what you'd like to know about the car, what additional information you want to know about EVs, and if you are a little bit unsure about an EV, what are some of the things that you're uncertain of, what questions do you have, and what can we help answer? Kia itself, they have an incredible dealer network. They have a great customer service system and setup for after-sales service. So if there is any issues, their warranty and their battery warranty is definitely one that gives you a little bit more peace of mind and assurance if you do want to go with a more established player when it comes to EVs in the local market. And who can argue, the design on the new Kia EV5 is absolutely beautiful. It's just simplistic elegance at its finest. So let me know in the comments section what you'd like to know, and we'll get you information. And until next time, thank you for watching.